Hello and welcome to Nbyula Talks. Before we begin, we have a few updates and reminders for you. We would love to have you be part of our Nbyula community. And you can do so by logging on to www.nbyula.com, where you can join communities related to your area of interest, register for upcoming Nbyula Talks, book one-to-one skylifts, and view other upcoming events. You can also take this opportunity to connect with fellow learners or the speaker by sending a connection request. When you connect with the speaker, you will be able to contact them directly as well as receive updates about their upcoming talks. Kindly note that during this session, you will not be able to switch on your camera or unmute your mic. To ask questions during the talk, go to the audience chat, type your question, and select Post Your Question. If your question has not been answered during the talk, you will be notified once it's been answered, or if your question has not been answered during the talk, you can go to www.nbyula.com and spin a quest, and your questions will be answered. Thank you for joining us today. We hope this talk broadens your horizons and takes you to new learning heights.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Nbyula Talk. I am Sadhna, I am your compere for the day. I am a part of Nbyula editorial and engagement team. It's a lovely Saturday and it's great to have you all amazing people join with us today in this super interesting conversation. To begin with, let me give you all a brief introduction of what Nbyula is. So Nbyula enables and empowers international work and study aspirants. Nbyula strives to bring about transparency, accessibility, and awareness around everything about international work and studies. We do that by connecting international aspirants of studies and work with experts from every related field, international students, alumni, and scholars. Today, we have with us Nurgul from Azerbaijan, who is a DAAD scholar and is currently in third semester pursuing computational engineering from Bochum. And she will give us insights on the DAAD scholarship and also the current situation of foreign students after the increase in energy prices and also general life there. So welcome, Nurgul, to our Nbyula Talks, and we are super excited to have you. So let's begin with a small introduction of you. So please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Sadhna, for introduction. I am Nurgul from Azerbaijan. I study Ruhr University Bochum in my third semester as computational engineering. Previously, I studied mechanical engineering in Turkey, and I am a DAAD scholar right now. That's about it from me.
Thanks, Nurgul. Before we begin, would you also like to give our audience a general, very basic info on what DAAD scholarship is as well, and like how did you apply and all that?
Yes. So the scholarship is funded by organization for international exchange students and researchers. This money comes from ministries and German Federal Office and number of enterprises and organizations. Overall, annually, more than 100,000 students are funded by DAAD. And you can find there multiple scholarships for PhD, masters, or even language courses.
Mm-hmm.
And for the procedure of the application, I would like to show some other steps, if it's okay.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So I would like to share my screen. Here we have the DAAD website, where you can find all the information about DAAD and how do they serve us students in general and how they're connected to higher education systems, institutions in Germany. If you toggle down the menu and enter here, scholarship database, you can go through the programs that you want, such as graduate programs, undergraduate programs, the country that you're from, in my case, Azerbaijan, and the subject is engineering and intention is to study. So in this website, we can see the scholarship database where you can apply your preferences and Yeah, and based on this, you can find the appropriate scholarship for you. In my case, it is Master for All Disciplines, which covers both engineering students and from other departments as well. And yeah, that's about it for DAAD and how. And if you ask some more questions, I can follow from here.
Yeah. Thank you for that. One more question is, why did you choose DAAD scholarship in specific? Like,
Um,
what are the other scholarships you applied to, and why was this your priority?
well, as I said, I already studied mechanical engineering. So for my career goal, I decided to find country that I can apply my engineering knowledge the best, and I can gain the best, the creme de la creme engineering knowledge. And this is in Germany, obviously. So, and the education system here is um, without any cost. That's why I wanted to apply Germany in specific. But the DAAD scholarship is among the most reputable scholarships in Germany, and it is covering you fully, and not just in terms of like study. Also, it has a good community that you can be part of for later. That's why I wanted to be part of the DAAD in specific.
Coming to our next question, why did you pick computational engineering, and which German universities, apart from the one you're studying in, were your choices?
Well, when I studied in my undergraduate, I took some courses regarding computational fluid dynamics, and my interest grew there because I find an opportunity to apply mathematical knowledge and programming skills at once. So this excited me the most. Later, I had my undergraduate thesis based on computational fluid dynamics application. Thus, I wanted to pursue a career later on in computational engineering field. Among the searches that I've made, one of the best universities was Ruhr University Bochum. The others have very interdisciplinary curriculum, but some are for machine learning perspective and some are for like not non-engineering perspective, like biochemistry, biology perspective. And I wanted to apply for a program that is covering my mechanical background, and Ruhr University was one of the best among choices. The other one was Technische Universität München and Technische Universität Dresden. I well, to be honest, during my application period, it was in Corona times, and because of huge delay of application in Germany, the application is taking place by paper, so you have to send papers via mail. And I couldn't manage to apply to Technische Universität München on time, but Ruhr University was my second option, and thankfully they were very kind enough to extend their application period, and I was able to join.
That's interesting. So, you said there were delays and everything. So, so in detail, like what was the application process, and how early did you start applying, and how long did the entire process take?
With the DAAD scholarship, I first applied to the DAAD scholarship itself. And when you're applying to the scholarship, you have to show three universities in your application document that you want to apply later on. And basically, you number your universities there. And once you pass the stages of interview, etc., and you land on the other scholarship, you can apply. So I received news about the other scholarship on late May, due to Corona again. And it's normally taking place like around March that they inform you whether you have the scholarship or you don't. So in my case, it was a little bit late. And then I started to apply for international students. Most universities allow you to apply until June, May, June. All the universities differ, but mostly it is around that time. And you have to again plan your application accordingly. You are sending some of the documents via mail, via post. So it's better to be at least 6 weeks early, and start applying and then sending documents. So just in mind. But my procedure happened in the beginning of summer, and in midsummer I already received that I received a spot in rural university.
That's nice. So almost everything in Germany happens via post itself, right? Like
Yes.
when they reply, yeah, all requests and all that. Okay, so coming back to the application, what are the documents required majorly?
Application for DAAD or application for university?
Colleges. You can talk about both.
Okay, so for DAAD, firstly, you have to select whether you want to study in German or in English, and maybe it can be both. Like, there are some programs that is like half and half, and based on that, if you're applying for English taught programs, then you have to apply with English language certificates. But in case it is like half and half, you have to prove that you have enough level. It's usually around B2 level in both of these languages by appropriate certificates. And then you are applying with your CV, motivational letter, and as I mentioned earlier, some documents that you have to fill, which universities you are selecting already, and why you're selecting these, etc. These are some documents you have to provide DAAD in specific, and among these documents, there's also one more that you have to fill all the application requirements of these universities. So whether they want B2 level German, they want 6.5 IELTS level, what is the application period, etc. So you're filling this information for the other people, so that when they check, they will know that, okay, you are on the right track if your application documents are right, etc. This is the other. And for universities, definitely you have to apply with great motivational letter, hopefully stating what you have already done in your undergraduate studies and how you are capable for this program. Especially, I applied for graduate program, and based on which area you are going to, you can contact with professors ahead of time and try to convince them personally to their lab, or if you want to, if you have a specific thesis idea in your mind, you can convince the professors already and then apply to see if the university is suitable for you or not. And the other documents are usually mentioned in their websites, the university websites, so it can differ.
Yeah. So, Nurgul, you mentioned about, motivation letter and different essays and all that which you had to write. So, did you have any mentors? Did you contact any mentors, or like, did you just take help from the internet? Like, did you do that all by yourself?
I actually couldn't have any help, unfortunately, because
It was COVID time also.
it was COVID time. But I had some experience from my previous applications, so I did all by myself. I just took some examples from the internet and go through them and studied them carefully, like how I can be a suitable candidate for DAAD. In their website, you can also find like the database that I already shared. If you go through the database, you can see what they are looking for in general. They state there, and so based on that, I saw the extracurricular activities also catch their attention. So in my motivational letter, I put it in another paragraph as well. But sometimes when you're applying for directly to programs, it's not so needed to state your extracurricular activities, but more academic life. So you can you can adapt your motivation letter accordingly.
It's always so nice to hear from somebody who has already done it. Like now that you've applied and you had experience applying before also, so you knew exactly what to do. I mean, we try to do the same at Nbyula too, like bringing people who've already done it, because you tried something, you tried maybe multiple things, and out of those things, something worked and that got you there. And the viewers will get that particular guidance that this will work, this is better to do. So even for the viewers, my message would be, do check out all the resources that you want, which will be listed. If there's something you're trying to look for and it's not there also, you can maybe start a quest and send a request. So it's always good to have insights from somebody who has done it already.
Yes.
And yeah, so coming back to DAAD, can you work while studying under DAAD grant?
Well, you can, but
Mm-hmm.
it is always nice to inform the other beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So in once you receive your scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be sent a huge document on the things that you can do and you cannot do, because you already know Germany is land of rules. So there are lots of rules that you have to follow and you have to be strict on them. In one of the rules, it says that you can work for part-time jobs, uh,
Mm-hmm.
approximately for 10 hours, and it needs to be related to your studying background. So you cannot work in a restaurant, in a cafe. It is probably not going to be accepted by the DAAD. But you can
Mm-hmm.
work as an HEVI, which means a research student at university.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find a lab that you find that it's nice and fun for you, you can apply directly to professor. You can mail them and say that you want to join to their lab, and they can find a position for you. And the other is very happy with this. It was HEVI.
Mm-hmm.
But for the rest, it is not accepted unless
Mm-hmm.
it is part of your program. So if your program has already internship requirement, it is all
Mm-hmm.
fine. But if not, you have to talk with the AD so that they will see it's not colliding with your average study period, and it won't be a problem for you, so they can be fine with it. So that's one of the things. And in general, if you earn more than 520 euros from this work, you're obliged to taxes. So your scholarship will be deduced um, based on how much you are getting. So in total, you should not earn more than 1,454 at this level. This is the budget. This is the money that I'm talking about from 2023. So
Oh.
previously it was 1,200. Now it is raised as well. So you have to again confirm it with the added basically.
So while we're speaking about prices, how are you coping with the rise in, energy prices?
Well, at first it was a bit how to say it was a bit scary because coming from Azerbaijan, I have seen energy price raises and inflation before, but I didn't know how Germany can cope with it. But so far, they're doing great. Obviously, I am following some rules as not using electricity if it's not needed, or trying to be mindful about my choices when it comes to energy. Um, but overall, the prices didn't raise too much. And at first, our scholarship DAAD couldn't adapt itself easily. But starting from February, they're also increasing the scholarship. So initially, it was 861 euros per month. Now it is 934 euros. And you can also apply for some help grants from government. Government is announcing to give around 300 euros to students to pay their rents, to pay their gas bills, etc. So overall, Germany is kind of the best place to be in these hard situations because government is helping you a lot, and also the DAD.
That's great. That's actually great to hear. So, coming back, how important do you think is it for an aspirant to learn German? Because I think there's an option for people to come with a basic level and learn German there as well. So, what would be your suggestion? How important is it?
Okay. Well, this is a very important question. I didn't know about this before, but now that I see, with the DAAD Scholarship, we were provided for 2 months language course, and this 2 months can also increase to 6 months in case you need it. I think this is depending on whether your program is in English or in German and how your language is coping with this. So for me, I am studying in English top program. So obviously I was funded for 2 months language course. And prior to the language course, I was already A2 level, A1, finished A1 level, the start of A2 level. And when I started, I realized those like the in the language course was taken very seriously. It was very intensive, and it was basically for what we needed in Germany in daily life. After finishing it and coming to Germany, um, living in Bochum, I could see how important it was because some Germans, contrary to the belief, they don't speak English at all, or they prefer not to. So, especially in the government, you have to go through stages in German only, and you should have at least B1, B2 level German to be able to live comfortably. But especially for the jobs later on, you're expected to know German, B2 level at least, and C1 level in most places. But even as an engineer, some think that it is very easy to find English jobs, but I think this situation is changing now. The requirements is high, and the German level is very needed, and I highly recommend you to learn it before coming because probably you will have the most time there. Once you come with studies, it's really hard to improve your German.
Yeah. How early would you suggest, applicants to start learning German? How many months early, maybe? Like, if you can give an insight.
Well, this is a personal guess, but if the person can learn the language very fast, I think to reach B1 level intensively, 4 months, 5 months would be fine. But if the person is a slow learner, I would suggest 1 year to at least to reach the B2 level in a slow but secure manner. And then once you are in Germany, you will see you can practice it some places, maybe even try to find German friends, and then your language skills can go rocket level soon. Yeah, but 1 year to 5 months, I guess, like depending on the person, is enough.
Yeah, yeah. I asked this question because usually people think a month or two for a level, or maybe 3 months before, or it's a tendency of students to start late. I mean, we also run German classes on Nebula's platform itself, and they also find speaking partners and everything. So it's sort of important for students to know that starting early is always better. Like, there's no harm in starting early. So
Yes, sure.
thank you for that insight. So I think now we can move on to questions from our audience. There are a lot of questions in the chat box I can see. Resul asks, how valuable do you think references are for applications?
So in my DAAD application, there was the section that you have to get references from your professors, 2 references at least. It's very
Mhm,
important if you can find the professor who can write your reference based on the area that you want to work on. As I said,
mhm,
if you're applying for a specific lab, specific professor, you have to know that whatever this professor is working on, your
mhm,
previous professor should also talk about this and how you are suitable for this position.
mhm,
And it's also nice to have someone giving information about you on extracurricular activities on your life apart from academics.
mhm,
Again, this is also depending on the program, but if you have already had internship, work experience, the idea appreciates this a lot. So
mhm,
if you can get reference from there as well, that will be positive on your application.
mhm. That's great. Yogendra asks, do I still have to pay any fees at some universities if I receive the scholarship?
Well, universities are free, but what is not free, what you
Mhm,
pay, is semester fee, and it
mhm,
is basically it is given you in details that who you are paying to. You're paying to student associations. You're paying for semester tickets that you receive, and some books or printing stuff related to university. In
mhm,
general, I am paying around 300 euros, roughly
mhm,
300 euros.
mhm.
But
That
some
is outside of the scholarship, 300 euros?
Yes, so my
Mhm,
scholarship is not giving this 300 euros, but it is
mhm,
giving one time, actually, yeah, every year,
mhm,
460 euros.
mhm,
And the intention of giving this money is for us to pay our semester fee. It's not
mhm,
covering it fully, and
mhm,
it's paying for whole year rather than per semester.
mhm,
But it's a good money, and
mhm,
with the amount that they is already giving monthly, you can pay your semester fee easily. It's not a problem. But yes,
mhm.
you have semester fee, and it's not completely free. And did I answer the question, or was
Yes, yes, I think you did. Um, Rezul has another question. He asks, is it easy to adapt to daily life if you cannot speak German, especially at the beginning? You can also talk about, the cultural differences you noticed, like along with this question. Yeah.
well, at the beginning, um, I think I was a to B1 level already, and um, from in general, people are speaking English, and you approach them, you will find English speaking people, but
Mhm,
some just don't prefer to, and especially as I said, when you're going through residence permit, city registration, these work and these stuff that you have to do with government, you should
mhm,
know some German. By some,
mhm,
I mean B1 level, and
mhm,
if not, you are required to bring a friend who already knows German. So I did most of these by myself with my
mhm,
broken German. It was
mhm,
fine, but it's also like based on luck. Uh,
mhm,
at the beginning, you can feel like a loner. Germans
mhm,
love speaking with German speaking people, and when they
mhm,
see you that you're trying, actually, uh, they are encouraging you more. So I
mhm,
would suggest to learn German also to be part of social life easily because you cannot find English speaking places
mhm,
really unless you're studying in English top program. And in my case, I am hanging out with my program friends more. But you can also, with German, join to societies, volunteering aspect. You can join there, or you can go to sports, be part of Germans. That can help. Like with, I mean, German can help to do those. So yeah, just consider learning.
Yeah, so coming back to cultural differences, like how did you find it? Like, what were the things that were a complete shock to you?
Well, complete shock was based on rules. I knew like about this, that they love rules. They love to be strict with rules, but I didn't know how much. Now that I am part of student council in my university in computation engineering, I'm going through lots of documentation, how to spend budget, how to show that what you spend, and in these there are lots of rules that secure also your future. Basically, what I mean by that is, if you do any mistake, actually you won't do any mistake, because they require lots of documentation that you won't be able to do any mistake in the later stages if you fill all those documents right. So I think it's a shock in the beginning that, oh, how many rules is there, and how can I follow all of these? Some rules sounds silly, but in the end you realize it's all for your benefit, and they have thought about these very carefully. So it's a good cultural shock, I guess. So far I haven't received any bad ones. I thought Germans are very cold, etc., but now that I have some German friends, I can realize they're just the same as us. It's just a matter of like time. First, initially, they seem unapproachable, but over time, when they realize, okay, you are like really trying to learn about their culture, the language, they're being nice. And yeah, so overall, my experience with German is fine.
That's great to hear, Nurgul. Um, Lalit has another question which says, where can I learn about the status of my application?
So once you apply, and then you receive an email for the interview, and after the interview, you will be dialed into a scholarship portal, so portal DAAD.de. And there you will see your application status, and you can check it regularly. But yeah, with the time in mind, like it is around March, that you will see a change in status. You can go through there, and if it's positive, if it's green, well, congratulations, you are in.
So, Namita has another question which says, have you taken up any leadership programs in Germany?
In Germany, leadership programs. I don't understand what it meant by leadership program in Germany.
I think what she means is like leading a student club, or like, positions of leadership anywhere in your university, stuff like that. Maybe
Yes.
that's what she means.
Right now, as I said, I am present as student council in my department. This is, I guess, counted as leadership position. Well, it is very important, because you can also, as I'm studying in engineering program, it's not very easy to show some other skills apart from engineering, such as leadership, communication, these average skills that everyone should have. But with leadership programs, you can show them better. So like once you arrive in Germany, if you're studying engineering, I also recommend doing this Vereinwerk, which means that you're going to volunteering jobs outside. You're being part of university Stupa, which is student parliament. So you gain a right to vote in student decisions. Also in Germany, universities are in the hand of students. So if you become part of these, you will see how the stages in every part of Germany work. So as a student, you will have lots of rights. You're representing other students, and you can give better decisions, such as let's change this part of campus to be green. Let's make our library this way, that way. So you can do anything really for inside the campus. And for with my position in student council, I am just representative of the students of my department to university, and we are trying to organize some events together, both academic and fun. And there I see great communication with my seniors, with my university staff, my professors. This after this position, I have realized it is benefiting me mostly, both on my CV level and also my social level. It helps me to adapt to Germany faster.
Another question is, how many programs can I apply for at the same time?
Um, Programs means, I guess, with DAAD Scholarship,
Courses, yeah.
how
Uh,
many? Well, you can,
yeah.
with DAAD Scholarship, you can apply infinite amount of programs.
Mhm,
But as I said early, in your first
mhm,
application stage, you put only 3 university, so 3 programs.
mhm,
Later, what happened with me as well, I
mhm,
changed my university. So there I stated, if I'm not mistaken, university in Düsseldorf, Hochschule, Fachhochschule in Kleve, some
mhm,
other universities, but I ended up in Ruhr University Bochum. And it is also possible that if one of those universities that you were gotten in, you wanted to be part of, is not stated in your application in the beginning, you can change
mhm,
it anytime.
mhm,
What you just need to do is to write DAAD after receiving the scholarship, of course. You're
mhm,
writing them saying, okay, I got into this university and this is my admission letter. Can you please change my other documents accordingly? So they change
mhm,
your um, confirmation of scholarship based on that university.
mhm, mhm. Okay. And Rezul has another question. He asks, is your scholarship also paying for your health insurance and liability insurance?
Yes, it does, but the
Mhm,
procedure works a little bit differently than average insurance in Germany.
mhm,
So
mhm,
normally students pay around 100 euros or more than 100 euros per month for insurance if they are not covered by DAAD. If they're on their own, that's the amount they have to pay. And the insurance they get is called government insurance. So it is public insurance. It's like it is basically much better, I guess,
mhm,
than private insurance. But in our case, it is private insurance, but it's private
mhm,
for students.
mhm,
So the I don't pay anything for insurance. My scholarship already pays for it,
mhm,
and for liability as well. Um, but with insurance, you have to make sure to bring all these documents that they're sending you after you receive scholarship. They are sending a huge document on how to deal with insurance, from which doctors you can get the treatment, etc. You have to bring those papers with you all the time.
mhm,
Whereas with public insurance, you receive a card, but in our
mhm,
case, we don't have the card. We have papers, PDFs, and well, yeah, this is the later stages. But the most important thing there is make sure to collect all the appropriate documents with you all the time, because sometimes when you are in rush to receive a treatment, it's not easy to get treatment unless you present some documents, and among these documents, there's one that's saying that's specific for you to give it to the doctor, so that they will charge you accordingly. And also, maybe it's good to note here, for the payments, once the payment is calculated based on what they asks for, what insurance asks for, you don't pay anything. But if there are some extra charges, like for example, normally you have to calculate this stuff in 1.7 factor, but if it's 2.3 factor, based on this difference, you have to pay it on your own from your own money. And to not make it happen, again, there are some documents you have to present, so they will not ever put more than 1.7 factor on your insurance. And for medicine, it's not covering fully. It is covering only less than 4 euros. So for each medicine, if it's more than 4 euros, this difference is what you're paying on your own.
Well, another question is, can I stay in Germany after I complete my studies?
You can. This has nothing to do with DAAD. So DAAD asks you to complete your studies in 4 semesters, if it's the regular study time of the program. But then your scholarship ends, and after this point, legally you have 18 months in Germany as a student to find a job that's suitable for you and that covers your permanent resident fees and procedure. And once you find it within this 18 months, you can stay here and you can earn the blue card, the other procedures to stay here permanently. But yes, as a student, you have 18 months guaranteed that you can stay here. There's no problem.
So that's great. I think those are all the questions too. Before we conclude, do you have any, special tips and tricks that, you want the audience to know when it comes to DAAD or when it comes to, moving to Germany in general?
Well, my tip is in the interview stage, which is, I guess, the most important stage, to be as honest as possible. They value honesty. For example, sometimes they ask you very challenging questions that's out of your scope, even. And you have to be honest whether you know them or not. If you don't know, you can just say, I don't know, but I would like to learn about this. And it's better than just saying mumbling about those scopes that you have no idea of. That's one of the tips. Also, for those universities that you put in your application stage, the 3 universities that I already mentioned, make sure you go through those websites very carefully and you know what university you're applying to, where they're located, because in the interview you might think it's very silly to ask, but they ask you about those universities just to check whether you are the one who filled your application or someone else. And it's always better to have idea and just to make sure that they know you really want this DAAD scholarship, not just because, but you are the appropriate candidate for it. And be more relaxed, I guess, in the interview and smile more often. Just be authentic as much as possible. Yeah, those are the tips of mine, I guess. And good
Yeah,
luck to
those were like really valuable tips. And I think all through this talk, like you've given us so much information. I'm pretty sure everybody that attended this talk has so much to take home to and, think about and, benefit from. So thank you very, very much for sparing your time for us and, sharing all these amazing information and tips and tricks with our viewers. And folks, that's it for today. And I would strongly suggest you all to stay tuned and follow all the talks and all the skylifts. And if you have any queries, do not hesitate to reach out to us or the speakers that are listed on the website. So it was a very, very lovely talk, Nurgul. Thank you so much for attending, and I had a really good time talking to you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for this opportunity. Hope everyone got their answers, got their questions answered. And if they have more questions, they can always ask, and I will try my best to answer them later on. Good
Yeah,
luck for
thank you.
everyone.
Thank you
Bye
again.
bye.
Yeah, thank you again. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. See you all.
See you.